I am LordMaddog, and we are playing Kerbal Space Program. We are picking up where we left off last time, which is trying to land on different bow mines on BOP. Yes, B-O-P. BOP. I don't know who named these things. Anyway, so I'm trying to land here. We will most likely speed it up because this is long and tedious trying to do all of this at one time. Give me a sec here. Alright, here we go. We're going to speed up. Alright. We're going at 4 times the speed of I did. It took me about an hour somewhat to do all this here. We're going to try to land. We found a new bow mine and we're near BOP slopes. So we're going to land here. Gonna collect some science data. There we go. We got magnet scan. Gonna keep and send some of that away. If you want to see that, I hope you could be able to pause and read some of those descriptions. They're not all that great. There is one to here that I did like right here, this one. BOP's surfaces are compressed primarily of common silicates with no traces of any indigenous rock, and suggests that it is most likely an asteroid captured by Jool's immense gravitational pull. No, that's not the one I liked. That's just as simple. Just the same one. Here we go. We get some loosely held up and tip carrier. Alright. Yeah, nothing there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and try to find another bow mine. There should be, I think there is a way to tell, look at, like, use your scan data or KerbNet, whatever, to see it. I have never figured out exactly how to do it. To see bow mines, areas, and where they are. The slopes, we're still in the slopes. Ah, nearby, yeah. Space near BOP slopes. Slopes. Peaks. There we go. Don't crash. Oh, I'm gonna have to reload. Sped up a little too fast. Didn't calculate that right. Here we go. This time. Yeah. 6, 8. Oh no, we have to slow down a little bit more. Yeah, under 10. There we go. On the peaks, we're gonna keep rolling here. All right, magnetometer scan. Further study. Here it is. This is it. X-ray. A few bright aluminum-rich silicates are mixed in along with BOP's more common darker minerals. A few traces of complex organic molecules are detected as well, but these are surely nothing but carbon-based contaminants. I don't see how you would have carbon-based contaminants all the way out here. So there's organic life on BOP. Not sure exactly what that entails. It'd be pretty neat if you would unlock certain technologies. They add some technologies that you can unlock by getting data from different places in different lands. Like, I don't know, something here to increase Kerbal walk speed or something. Scientific data, genetically modify Kerbals so they live longer or don't need as much snacks or yeah, like that. I know that's ridiculous, but all right. So here I decide I'm done flying around this dang thing. We're going to try to and just go ahead and take off. But I think I actually realized that I see one that I kind of want peaks there. Peaks again. Oh, nope. Slopes. Oh, I guess I just do take off. I thought I re-landed back on it because I've seen a different one that I wanted. Bow mine. Ridges. Bop's ridges. Yeah, look at there. Yes, I did. And then I decided I'm going to land on Bop's ridges. Because it's the one I hadn't seen one yet. We're using MechJab's landing mechanical Jebediah landing MechJab. Yep. Landing. Oof, that didn't work out too well. It's busted. I have to do it manually. I have to do this, so we're going to go ahead and burn. Well, because I can't do a suicide burn because I don't know the math on how to calculate that. I just have to keep on. Oof. Well, that didn't work out. The land actually raced up to meet me. So I wasted a decent amount of fuel trying to figure out how to. And then they get here, and then all of a sudden it switches over to bops instead of ridges. It switches to slopes again, which is absolutely infuriating. And as you see, MechJab is still busted. Can't use it. There we go. It worked. Bop's slopes, so we have to move and try to figure out where Bop's ridges is at. There we are, Bop's ridges. That was actually pretty. Yeah, turned out pretty well. Hammer activate where's tiny moon? Yes. And then you get all that little extra data. And now we're gonna go ahead and 120C. Yes. And take off. Once again, we're going to go ahead and get an orbit around Bop. And I'm going to activate, because once you get far enough away, you can activate the thingy, your warp drive, and get out of the surface area of Jool and leave Bop and fly for Kerbin. Now comes the big hard problem of trying to actually get in the right proper speed to land on Kerbin. That took me a lot of work, and you guys are going to be super glad you didn't have to watch it in slow speed, because at this time I did not understand how it worked at all. I read over it 3 or 4 times, read like 5 or 6 different, watched a couple different tutorials, but I still thought it was by orbit. I didn't realize you had to switch to the target to see what your speed was to target. Yet. There, orbit. As you see, 6,000. That doesn't work. I would take all of my delta V and maybe even more, because of 6,000. It's like it's compounded. So here I begin to try to slow down my orbit speed around the sun, thinking that would fix it, when actually in reality it's not orbit speed you got to be trying to fix. It's relative velocity to target. So if you're going too fast or too slow, you've got to either speed up or slow down to your relativity of the target. Most of the time you're going way too fast to relativity to your target, which I'm not quite sure how that would work, because see, I was on Earth. I should have, when I flew out, which is my speed would be much faster than Jool. But when I'm out at Jool, you would think that coming back my speed would be much slower. Because it has Jool moves. I mean, yeah, Jool must move at much slower speed, right? Or maybe it actually moves faster than. I haven't actually checked the speed it reads on it. You gotta look at. You can look at it by mousing over it, and it'll tell you the speed of the planet. So here I'm trying to slow down my orbit speed, which doesn't actually end up doing anything for me. I think I may skip ahead for a bit because I spend a long time doing this. Oh wait, yeah, a really long time. Here we are again. We're still doing it, messing up, still doing it. Yeah, still at it. Like I said, I spent a long time trying to do this. See, now my orbit speed was only like 900 something. I was super happy, but I thought, oh, it'll work. It didn't work because my orbit relative velocity to target was insane. And see, so I wasn't even able to. So reload, and here I actually finally went out and figured out how it works. It's relative velocity to target. So you see I switched it over from orbit relative velocity to target relative velocity, and right away I began to burn off a lot of that speed because I figured out how it works. But I went too fast and it ended up gaining back a lot of that relative velocity. Now I'll just have to fix that. Here, spin around. Now, later on, I get much better at this. I begin to understand how the warp drive works to an extent. I never really completely figured out how to do it 100% of the time, but basically, you've got to either, according to the relative velocity, if you're traveling too fast, usually you're traveling too fast actually, but that's because it may be going the opposite direction of which you are going, or it may be you need to actually speed up to catch to its relative velocity. And according to that, you either got to kind of align yourself with the planet. If you're going too fast, you got to try to align yourself with the planet. Too slow to the relative target, even though it says you're going fast, but if you're going relatively slow to the target, you've got to try to align yourself to the target and fly towards it close to the sun. So you basically got to kind of aim at it and fly towards it to an extent, to your apoapse. If you're going too fast, if you're going, it'll tell you going to, how do I describe that? Because it's relative to speed to target, you can't tell whether you're going too fast or too slow compared to the target. But it's always saying you're going too fast. Your target speed is always a lot faster than what you want. So you got to fit around to actually figure out which it is. You got to match your speed basically. And here I was going too slow compared to Earth. So as you see, I had to target basically go towards Earth and speed up towards it. And that's how I was able to, because I'm closer to the sun, flying out towards it. Yeah. So I've reduced my relative velocity now down to 4,000 to Earth, and I'm going to fly back around, once again, I wasn't watching what I was doing. My relative velocity back to 6,000. Eventually, I get better at this. So I've got to fly towards Earth, try to increase my speed towards Earth. Yep. It's so finicky right there. Went down to 5 and jumped to 8. It's very, very touchy, and that's why it took me so long to try to figure this out. right here, and I'd gained too much speed by doing what I had done. Now, went there, I went down, slowed down too much to my relative velocity of the sun, of the Earth. So now I've got to once again go towards it and speed up, I think. Right there, there. We're getting close. 2,000. Once again, you went too fast. Now you're going too fast compared to it. And that's basically what you gotta do. You gotta fiddle with it a lot. And the warp drive with what is this named warp drive? The warp plugin. The other warp drive. There's the other. Here I have to reload. I blew myself apart. What is it called? Interstate stellar space mod. They have their own warp drive, but it's not nearly as easy to control. You actually have to use right click on the warp drive and hit activate or deactivate, and you got to set it to speed, and yeah. Anyway, that takes a lot more financing, and you're going to actually want to do a little bit of math with that one if you're going to use that one. But it's basically still the same. You got to figure out whether you're going too fast to your relative target or too slow to your relative target, so you have to meet the speeds. You got to match speeds. So the way you would figure that out is switch to your current orbit, look at the orbit of the planet you're targeting. Okay, you mouse over the planet. Right there, my current target speed, I have 2,000. I decide that's good enough. I'm going to go ahead and spend the delta V necessary to actually go around. Delta V necessary to become in orbit with it. Oh, also another way to bleed off some speed is to get into orbit. Or if you have a decent speed, get into orbit and fly away from the planet. I don't know if I learned that here, but yeah, you can get into the orbit and fly away from the planet, and you'll bleed off some speed as well. Wait, there we go. Gonna go ahead and spend that 1,000 delta V that is absolutely necessary to get into orbit, and then I'll have to spend off a couple thousand delta V, but I have it at 5,000 left. I could have actually gone around and explored a little bit more, but it's always better safe than sorry, especially when you're dealing with $15 million worth of equipment and you don't have the money to actually replace it. So yeah. Okay, so we're in orbit. But as I was saying, you can look at your orbit speed, you can mouse over it and see what its orbit speed is, and then switch to your orbit tab and see what your orbit around the sun speed is. And if you're going faster in orbit around the sun, then you've got to point away from the planet you're trying to match speeds with, and then let time pass while you're flying away from the planet, and you will burn down your relative speed. At least this is what I've experienced. Here we go. We're now perfect orbit around the Earth. And if you're going too fast, not going fast enough to match the speed of the planet you're aiming at, you gotta point towards it when you're close to the sun and let time pass. So you'll gain speed to catch up with it. So it takes a lot of time fiddling. So if you got a warp drive, whether it be the simple warp drive mod, this one, or the whole interstellar warp mod, that when you get to 10K, that one takes a lot longer science-wise to get to there. But yeah. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and land here. And we're going to see how much we get science-wise. And we have the touchdown. We'll go ahead and collect a little bit more data just to say, ooh, wow, look at all that. That's nice. There we go. And we're going to recover vessel. All right, we gained 10,000 in science, but we only gained 8,000 back in fun, $8 million back in funds, which really pees me off because I had $14 million into it. And as you see, I was trying to figure out why that was. I couldn't understand. It should have been like $14 million, $12 million back from the hyper, the warp Jacoberry warp drive. But it didn't. I only got $8 million right there back. That kind of really sucked. I guess it was the X matter cost so much. So that's where we ended for that day. Oh, we'll see you next time. And, well, have a good day. And go ahead and watch the next one. It'll probably be up by the time you do. All right, see you.